Today we're going to be taking a look at linear equations. What we're going to learn today is how to find solutions of linear equations and how to graph them. You can use this to describe the relationship between two different quantities. And you can see in the example, to make a swing, you need enough rope to reach the branch plus 5 feet to tie the rope. You can use y equals x plus 5 to describe the relationship between the number of feet, which is x, the tire hangs below the branch, and the number of feet, which is your y, of rope that you're going to need. A solution of a linear equation is an ordered pair. You've spent last week graphing those, creating those beautiful pictures. So we are going to take a look, finding solutions. Using that same example, we are going to, for our x, use the values of 6, 7, and 10 to see if that would be enough rope in terms of tying around a branch. So the equation we're using is the same one above. We have y equals x plus 5 right here. You are going to be creating a table whenever you come up with your answers, very similar to this one here. The interpretation, you're not going to have to give me that in your table, but I am definitely going to be looking for x and y's solving and solutions. So find the three solutions of each, 6, 7, and 10. You can see right here, this is your x column. To the right of that, you have the equation, x plus 5. It's a good way to remember it, putting it in a table, so you don't forget the equation you're actually using, you're actually solving for. Your y is going to be your answer. The solution, this is what we're actually looking for because we want to be able to graph these equations. That's going to give you an ordered pair. Your x, which is 6, and in this case, 6 plus 5 is 11, that is your y. So there you have your ordered pair. You go through and you solve just the same way for every value that you put in for x. Let's take a look at our quick check. So looking at the quick check, let's zoom in a little bit. Here we go. All right, we are going to create a table very similar to the one that we just saw above. So mind my writing here. There is our x. Let's go with our equation, which is x plus 8. And let's look at our y. After that, we're going to be given a solution. Our solution is going to be our x and our y ordered pair. Now, we have been given our values for x right here, -2, 0, and 2. That is what we are going to plug in to the equation x plus 8. So, -2, 0, and 2 will go in my x column. -2 plus 8 is going to give me a positive 6. 0 plus 8 is going to give me a positive 8. 2 plus 8 is going to give me a positive 10. The ordered pair, the solution that we have just found, remember it goes in alphabetical order, -2 and 6. And I am pulling those values from right here. There's my 2 and there's my 6. So that is where I'm pulling those values from. 0, 8, 2, and 10. And the next step is going to be to graph those equations. If you were to put those ordered pairs on a 4-quadrant coordinate plane, you would find that that would create a line, using a ruler, of course. I want you to take the time to solve for B and C, y equals x minus 1 and y equals negative 2 times x. You can see the ordered pair solution is in red. So please check your ordered pairs for what you have solved. If you're looking at C and you are finding that your answers were incorrect, I would double check that you multiplied negative 2 times negative 2 and you didn't add them together, that you don't have 0 there, that you don't have, your sign, you followed the sign rules. That's what I would just double check if you got that one incorrect. The vocabulary that I'd like you to take a look at, make sure that you have in your notes, is the graph of an equation, which is the graph of all the points with the coordinates that are the solutions of the equation. So with that table that you just created, that would be the graph of an equation, putting all of those coordinates onto a coordinate plane and graphing it. That is the graph of an equation. A linear equation is when the graph of its solutions lies on a line. That's why they're called linear equations. You can see the word line within linear means that it's going in one path, one direction. We can graph using test solutions. So we can plug in an ordered pair into a linear equation, and that would tell us if that ordered pair would actually fall on that line. So we're going to take a look at the example using y equals x plus 5, the same equation we started with. Use the graph to test whether 9 and 13 is a solution to the equation. Plot the 3 ordered pair solutions, the 3 that you would have solved for in those examples. In example 1, they've plotted those points right here. Draw a line through those points. We're not freehanding lines. We are going to use a straight edge, use a ruler to actually graph that line. Then we will test 9 and 13 by plotting the point in the same coordinate plane. You can see 9 and 13 is not really falling within that line. So it is not a solution for the ordered pair. And you can actually check it by putting 9 in place of the x, 13 in place of the y. 9 plus 5 does not give you 13, so it is definitely not going to be a solution. I'd like you to take a look at the quick check and tell whether 7 and 12 is a solution of y equals 3x minus 1. You don't necessarily have to create a graph to actually solve that. You could actually just put in the value for x and put in the value for y and tell me, do they equal each other? If you go through and solve, you can see that 12 is not equal to 20. So that is not a good solution for the linear equation of y equals 3x minus 1. Linear equations may have negative values in their solutions too. That's what gets us into quadrants 2 and 3 right here, if we have negative values for our x or our y. You can graph linear equations using positive values, negative values, and 0. Here is a great example. They're using -1, 0, 1, and 2 for their x values. That's going to give us a good idea of what that line is going to look like across 4 quadrants. What I'd like you to do is graph each linear equation, and I'd like you to do so on graph paper rather than on the iPad. So on graph paper, you are going to graph y equals x plus 4, y equals 1/2 times x, y equals negative x. You need to use negative values, positive values, and 0. I will leave them up to you. If you are not sure which ones you want to use, I would like you to just go with x equaling -1, 0, 1, and 2. But if you'd like to use other values like -3, -4, 1, 4, that is completely up to you. You are going to take the time to graph those equations. We will check those together as a class. You are going to complete practice 10-2 for homework. I would like you to work through the problems as best you can. If you have any trouble, you can always go back to the notes, go back to the recording, but I am positive that you guys will all do a fantastic job.